But I always felt like if I have a full-time career, then I cannot run my creative outlet at the same time. I had to finish my residency or wait till my kids are older, or let me first have the baby and then I can think about my creative outlet or how I can express myself in the way that I've been dreaming about for years, like as long as I could remember. So in today's video, I want to talk about something that I'm sure a lot of creators, whether in the online space or offline, face all the time. I've been speaking about making time and creating content and finding the time for that creative outlet. For a while, I thought that creating something that's mine, something that's out of my full-time job, was something that had to take turns with motherhood, with a full-time, very demanding career, and I kept putting it off. Like, I would read about it, I would learn. I would even set up accounts or take courses online, illustration, or how to use my iPad more productively, apps like Notability and Procreate and sketching my own work. I've done the work, but I always felt like if I have a full-time career, then I cannot run my creative outlet at the same time. I had to finish my residency or wait till my kids are older, or let me first have the baby and have her grow a bit older, and then I can think about my creative outlet or how I can express myself in the way that I've been dreaming about for years, like as long as I could remember. I used to think that I didn't have time for creative work, and that if I wanted to start a creative project, then I needed time off from work. The problem was that I didn't understand what kind of a problem I was facing, so even when I took time off, I really felt like I was still on that doing phase. So there's this writer, she has a newsletter called Tech and Tea. Her name is Jean Hsu. She said she burned out from a tech job, not because she was working too many hours, but from being in a constant doing mode with no space for just being. And she pointed out that even people with a good work-life balance couldn't get creative work done. It isn't because they don't have enough time. It's rather because they don't allow themselves to be in that aimless, open-ended, creative state that eventually generates great ideas. I feel like that's why lately we've been relying on AI more than ever. It isn't because we're not smart or we don't have enough life experiences. It's rather because we're just in the doing mode. So I want to film a video, I'll just ask AI to give me ideas. I wouldn't let the idea, the creativity burst come to me so that I can write the script and you guys can feel it. And I'm telling you, this is a tried and tested way. And for me to reach that state, I even feel myself differently when the idea, the creative idea, or the thought that I want to talk about has actually come from my experiences, or from having a long walk at the beach, or having a catch-up conversation with a friend that sparks ideas, or watching a documentary, or reading a intriguing article. And that is what I want to talk about today, is how to get yourself into the creative state and stop saying that you don't have enough time, or you can't come up with ideas, or there's no time for creative work alongside a full-time job. And her thought really landed with me because I was trying to fix a doing problem. So I was scheduling more, researching more, planning more, trying to optimize my life, trying to optimize my desk setup, my planner, everything to be in reach so that I don't have to think when I start creating. But as soon as I sat down, I was still in that mode. No ideas would come on my mind and I would feel really frustrated, and it would be that 1 or 2 hours. And most of the time I end up not doing anything, or end up doing something that I don't like anymore, and the cycle starts again, and I don't create and procrastinate and delay the job for the next time. And I'll tell you the fix, because we need to name the problems to be able to solve them. What we need to do is name the season that we're in, name the phase of life that we're in right now, and let's give it a period of time, whether it's 2 months, 3 months, and let's release the expectation. So I came across this idea through a writer called Tilmann, and he talks about the ability to create alongside a full life. So he has this idea of naming the season that you're in, the creative season that you're in. And he says to give yourself a window of 60 to 90 days of one creative experiment, and you go with it to the fullest. His example is, for the next 90 days, I'm going to be a 9 to 5 employee who works on their creative work for 2 to 3 hours per week and ships one thing every Sunday. That's the complete sentence. That's the season. What I love about this thought is that it releases you from that comparison and stops it right there, because you're no longer comparing yourself to someone who is creative or creating full time. You are just an employee who does this on the side for 2 to 3 hours a week without big expectations and for a period of time that is named. What it does is that it trains your brain to think of it as a season. No pressure to perform, no pressure to be in that doing mode. And the name implies that it changes and that you don't need to commit to it after 3 months. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't commit to your creative work. I'm saying that if you are in this dilemma of not being able to create and waiting for the right moment and waiting for ample of time to start, this is a great place to start. Releasing that pressure, releasing that comparison. His way of thinking really helps you to know when to shift your plan if it gets too tight for your schedule or too loose. Let's go back to Jean's idea for a minute, because there's a part of productivity advice that I feel is completely missed that she covers well in her idea. You know, where she says that you should be in a being mode where you are aimlessly creating, open-ended, without pressure to perform or to do something by the end of it. And she says that's how the creative work actually is, and that's how you create genius work. So it says that if you schedule it too much, if you tighten yourself too much on it, even that becomes in the doing phase and you feel like it's a task. So you no longer create as freely, because when, for example, gardening becomes a task you have to take off in the morning, you start to feel like you're dreading it, you want to dodge it and just doom scroll for like the 2 hours that you could have possibly done something great or something creative. And it boosted your dopamine and gave you that feeling of being and creativity that will probably fuel further ideas. She says that even your morning pages, the gratitude journal, whatever it is, feels as if it's a streak that you need to maintain rather than a state of being where you're writing down deep thoughts and just being. She says that this puts you in an achievement mode and your body can actually feel it, that restlessness of not doing the task that you've said that you will do. So the creative time isn't really about an hour where you sit down and film or sit down or script a video. It's about the time you protect that kind of headspace that makes that hour possible. And there's a part that I wasn't expecting to matter this much. Matt Tilmann talks about it, and he says that most creators with a full-time job actually stall not because they run out of ideas, they stall because they feel alone in the process. Sitting down after a long day of work and making something that you know by the end of it, no one is waiting for you to put out there, is genuinely hard. He says that even community groups, following more creators, joining 5 different Slack groups will not solve the problem. What will solve the problem is my memory filled up on me, so I switched up the angle a bit while I emptied my camera. Let's continue our conversation. His idea of commit to what you wanted to start is to have an accountability buddy, someone you can just message that you're on track, that you have done the work for the day, that you've posted the video, that you've posted the article, that you wrote a page from that book that you wanted to publish. Whatever it is that is keeping you from going forward, talking to someone about it, someone you trust that will hold you accountable, can really help. He calls it the small, reliable touch point. And the reason why it works is because you know that someone is checking in on you, and that changes the way you show up. So here's what it looks like for me. I would name the season and give it a time period, whether it's 2 to 3 months, that I commit to that creative work, nothing more, nothing less. And I have one person that is holding me accountable to deliver and show up for that work. And that's literally it. Not reinventing your schedule, just these 3 moves that will get you to protect your creative time and actually be available for it. If you like this video, I would really appreciate if you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, where I share more about procrastination and about how to get the best workflow and how to be able to finally start that creative work that you've been holding off. And I'm talking out of experience, and that is why I'd love to have you on this journey where I'm documenting as I go, holding myself and you guys accountable. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.